Oh, wow, Charlotte, look at this place. Isn't it amazing?
I know, Jude. It's so amazing.
Yeah, inside the post office. And I wonder what Dr. Luke has got for us. So let's see. We've been given a parcel from Dr. Luke. So let's have a look inside and see what we've got.
Yeah, have a look inside. Let's see what we've got. Yes.
A magnifying glass. That's going to come in so handy for when we want to find little bits of evidence and fingerprints.
Oh, wow. Oh, Jude, look, there's an ultraviolet torch for reading invisible ink.
Oh, that's so exciting. Invisible ink is so much fun too. That's a great tool to help us be detectives. I wonder what else Dr. Luke has got for us.
Have a look.
Oh, just a normal pen. But, wait a minute. I know we've got to make lots of notes and write down evidence. So a pen would be really handy for that, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. We definitely need one of those. Right. Let's see what else we've got. So, oh, Jude, look, it's a translator. Oh, that's great for decoding things.
Yes, exactly. In all different languages. That would be amazing, Charlotte. Oh, let's see. Oh, there's so many things in here. Oh, it's a special padlock that reads codes. It's got special symbols all along the front of it. Oh, wow.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, there's something else here. Is it? Oh, hang on. It's a mirror.
A mirror.
Oh, what on earth is a mirror for?
Good question, Charlotte. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I've got there's this ultraviolet light, which is fantastic. And the decoder. My different languages. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, maybe I can use the both.
Charlotte, I think I've had a little bit of a plan. Are you sure you don't need to look inside the mirror and see if there's something in there?
I could have a look, yes. Oh, hang on.
Strange place for Dr. Luke to send us, Charlotte.
Yes, there's a beautiful church over there.
Yeah, we seem to be in the church graveyard. Oh, very odd. Maybe Dr. Luke's left us something.
Let's have a look around, see if we can find a clue.
Yes, good idea. Let's have a little look. Well, lots of beautiful flowers left in pots, I see. And
there's a nice tree over there.
Oh, yes. Oh, look what I've found, Charlotte.
Oh, how exciting. What's inside, Jude?
Oh, yes, it says case file D, code name dead. Let's see what Dr. Luke has left us.
Oh.
It's a bit tricky, isn't it?
It is. It's some strange letters. Oh, Jude, I know. I bet ultraviolet light will shine on it and it'll show exactly it's written in invisible ink underneath. Is it anything coming up?
Nothing. Oh, that was a good idea, Charlotte, but I don't think it uses the UV torch. But wait a minute, there are lots of symbols and shapes on this. So I wonder if this special decoder that Dr. Luke gave us inside our parcel might help. Let me see if I can find any symbols that are the same.
Yes.
Oh, there's none the same at all. I don't think this decoder's going to help us with this clue today.
Well, Jude, it's a bit like a strange language. Perhaps if I put it in the language decoder, it'll give us the answer. Let me put it in. Yeah, putting the letters in. Oh, doesn't mean a thing. Well, that's no good.
No. So it's not written with invisible ink. It hasn't got secret symbols, and it's not in another language. Oh, I can't work this out, Charlotte.
Well, Jude, what about What about the mirror that Dr. Luke left us in our kit? Perhaps if I shine that on it, does that work?
Let's see what happens. Oh, look, I can see a reflection inside your mirror, Charlotte. It's written backwards.
Oh, Jude, it says, I can read it. It says Luke chapter 7, verses 11 to 17.
Oh, wow. That sounds like it's come from the Bible. It looks like a Bible verse. Maybe Dr. Luke's trying to give us a message to look inside the Bible at chapter 7. Have you ever been to a theme park, gone on a roller coaster, or maybe gone on the teacups or the bumper cars? I wonder what your favourite part of it is. In fact, why don't you tell the people around you right now what your favourite thing to do at a theme park or a fairground or even a play park? Go and talk to them now and tell them what you love to play on. Now, I must admit that I love roller coasters. The faster they go, the more they spin, the more they turn, the more they duck and dive into smoke and out through tunnels, the better they are. I love them. In fact, I've actually gone quite a few times to Disneyland in Paris because I love to go on all the rides there. And one of my favourite rides is a runaway train. And you sit inside the train roller coaster and you've got a special bar that holds you tight in the seat. And then you whoosh off. And as you're rushing along on your roller coaster, you go around a mountain and around different kinds of carts and wheels and crates and all kinds of things that are all around the track. And then as you go faster and faster, you spin and you turn, you suddenly get plunged through smoke. And as you go through the smoke, you suddenly find that the sky has disappeared, that the sun's no longer there because you're in a deep, dark tunnel and you're rushing along and the wind's going into your face. And as you go whizzing along, you can see in the distance a tiny little light. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until suddenly you're out of the tunnel and you're back in the sky again. And you can see across the park. And what's amazing at the one in Disneyland is that when you've gone under the tunnel, you've actually gone under the water. And you find yourself in a brand new place, in amongst an island that's been built right in the middle of the theme park. And you whiz around and go down a tunnel and back to where you started. I love that ride. And I love it because you suddenly go from whizzing really fast, being able to see everything going past you, to being plunged into darkness. But you know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you know that you're going to come out on the other side on the secret island in the middle of the park. Now, I wonder what it's like to be plunged into darkness. In fact, why don't we play a quick little game? In a moment, I want you to pause this. And I'd like you to go off and see if you can find a scarf or a blindfold. And one of you is going to wear the scarf or blindfold. And I'd love for the other person or other people around you to take you by the hand and guide you around your room. Maybe you'll go over a chair or under a table or through the legs of somebody else. Have a little go now and see what it's like to be blindfolded and to be guided as well. I wonder how you found that game, whether you were the person who couldn't see and didn't know where you were going, or whether you're one that was leading the way. But we're thinking today about an incredible story, about a woman who felt sad and lonely and upset. I wonder if you've ever felt sad and lonely and upset. What it was that made you feel that way. Had you lost something or something had broken or had someone gone away? But that feeling is so dark, isn't it? And it makes you feel like you just want to cry. Well, in our story today, there was a widow. And a widow is someone who was married, but their husband had passed away. And our widow in the story had had another sad thing happen. Her son had passed away too. Now, in those days, if you had no husband and no son, things got really, really tough. It would mean that you suddenly became very poor and you had no one to look after you. And when Jesus was walking through the town and he heard the sad music and he saw the widow walking, his heart went out to her. In fact, it says in Luke chapter 7, verse 13, that when the Lord saw her, his heart went out and he said, "Don't cry." Now, what a strange thing to say. Fancy saying to someone who'd lost their husband and lost their son, "Don't cry." Surely crying is a good thing. It helps to make us recognise how we're feeling. It's a part of who we are. So why was it that Jesus said, "Don't cry"? Well, the thing is that Jesus knew something. He knew that he wanted to take this woman who was so sad and lonely, and he was going to give her a promise of something far greater. In fact, when he said "don't cry," he then did something incredible. He walked up to the funeral party and he's put his hand out on the casket where the boy was lying. And as he did so, he told the boy to get up. And life came back into the boy. He was no longer dead, he was breathing and living again. And joy was brought back to that widow. And that widow, instead of having everything taken away from her, suddenly had it all turned around and everything was good and right. And Jesus had done that. You see, Jesus had turned everything on its head. He'd flipped it backwards. So instead of there being a boy who was lying there without any life in him, he was alive and well and with his mum. Jesus had turned it round. And that helps us to know a little bit about Jesus too. When Jesus sees us sad and lonely and upset, he comes alongside us, just as he did with that widow. And he knows what it is that we're feeling. In fact, Jesus cried too. We read that in the Bible because he got upset. And he knows what it's like to feel sad and lonely. He knows what it's like to feel that everything else is gone and he was just alone. In fact, he even cried out when he was on the cross, my God, why have you left me?" Because he felt that even God had gone away from him. But just like in our story today, when Jesus said, "Don't cry," God comes beside us. And God was with Jesus when he was on that cross and raised him back to life again. And God is with us too. In the times when we feel sad and lonely, God comes alongside us and he is with us. And he can turn our situations around. When we feel lost or lonely, he's there. So we're no longer lonely. When we feel sad and we feel like we just want to cry, he is there to put his arm around us and comfort us. Because Jesus comes alongside us. And he can turn any situation around. It might not be the way we think. It might not be the way we hope. But we know that for each and every one of us, for everyone who loves Jesus and follows him, that there is going to be a great time when only happiness rules in the world. When there'll be no more sadness and no more crying and no more tears. Because Jesus is Lord and Jesus will be King. And that's something to really be excited about. So when I was back on that roller coaster, going through that tunnel, even though it was dark and I couldn't see the way forward, I knew that there was a light to come. I knew that there was going to be a way out. And that's what made it fun for me, because I knew it was a roller coaster. But in life, there could be times when it feels really dark and really sad, and we don't know that there's a light to come. But we have the promise of God that there will be a day when all things will be made right. And that until that day, he walks alongside us and he is with us. And that's something we can celebrate. So we can learn to be a bit like Jesus today. If we see someone else who's sad or lonely or upset, we can come alongside them and put our arm around them and be with them just as Jesus was with that widow. And we can tell those people who are feeling sad and lonely that there will be a time when things will be made right, when all things will be well. And that will be when Jesus is King and we're with him. But for now, we can have the same heart as Jesus. And when we see others sad and lonely, we can come alongside them and journey with them. So my challenge for you this week is to keep your eyes open. If you see someone sad or lonely or upset, come alongside them like Jesus did. Put your arm around them and look after them. And let them know that with Jesus, He is with them too. And that there will be a day when things will be happy and well. And we can also, if we're feeling sad and lonely, we can know that too. So I think it'll be a great time to pray now. And I'm going to say a little prayer and then I'm going to pause for a moment. And when I go silent, I love you to either whisper into your hands or say in your head the name of someone that comes to your mind. Maybe someone who's feeling a bit sad and lonely at the moment. And we're going to learn from God what it is that He wants us to do. So let's put our hands out like we're receiving a gift. And we're going to talk to Daddy God now. Daddy God, we thank you that you journey alongside us. We thank you that when we're walking through things that seem dark and sad and lonely, that you are there with us. And we thank you that there will be a time when we are with you and we'll be in your light at the end of a dark time. And Lord, we pray for anyone we think of now who we know is sad and lonely and upset. Lord, will you help us to be like Jesus, to come and put our arm around those people and to show them that by following you, that we are following the great King who promised us a time when there'll be no more sadness, no more tears, and no more crying. Amen.
Oh, Jude, that's amazing that Jesus really turns things around.
He does, and He has such a love for each and every one of us that He joins us and walks alongside us when we're feeling sad or low or upset. But He can turn situations around, and even things that look so bad and look, well, as if there's nowhere forward, Jesus can bring us hope. Well, I think we've solved the case file D for dead, where Jesus turns things around so that even dead things can come back to life.